We want to take you back out now to Hancock Park. This is the view from News Chopper 4 Bravo. Protesters are outside the mayor's house right now. And NBC4's Eric Leonard joins us to talk about this protest. Eric.
Well, Carolyn and Michael, the mayor's residence is a symbol that's drawn a lot of attention from protesters who have been upset with the conduct of police officers in Los Angeles. Mayor Garcetti, or any mayor, is the person who helps to select, probably the person with the most influence in selecting the chief of police for the city of LA. And as we've heard in police commission meetings, including the one earlier today, there's a tremendous amount of frustration and anger that's been directed towards LAPD Chief Michael Moore, before him LAPD Chief Charlie Beck, regarding the treatment of officers who are involved in police shootings that many activists and protesters and many members of the public may think were unjust, unjustified, or outright criminal. And there has been a demand at the commission meetings, certainly demands in public. If you may remember, a few years ago, there was an Occupy encampment that was set up outside City Hall demanding the removal of the police chief. And some of that has now been directed towards Mayor Garcetti because a person in the mayor's office has a lot more say over who the police chief is. And the primary complaint is that the Los Angeles Police Department fails to adequately punish officers that many of the activists believe behaved unlawfully at work. The LAPD has been involved in a number of controversial shootings, but far and away, both the LA police commissioners, whose job it is, they're the civilians appointed by the mayor also, the commissioners rule that the trigger pulling, the ultimate split-second decision to take somebody's life, is in policy. And more often than not, the LA County District Attorney's Office is asked to weigh in on whether or not the officer's behavior was criminal. And it's really unheard of for police officers to be prosecuted for these cases that many of these activists believe were unjust. So the reason the mayor's house has the symbolism, the reason it is a focal point of these demonstrations, is because the mayor hires the police chief, the mayor appoints the police commissioners, and all of those together, the chief and the commissioners, are responsible for deciding whether or not Los Angeles Police Department officers behaved within policy or violated the department rules when they use force against members of the public. So this is not the first time there's been demonstrations there. There have been a number of them, not all of them from this group of protesters. In fact, it was just a couple of weeks back during the coronavirus lockdown, when people were being encouraged to stay at home, that there was a large demonstration that got a little bit raucous for about an hour from business owners and people who were demanding that Mayor Garcetti lift the orders that were causing so many businesses to remain closed for weeks, if not months on end. Just in the last few minutes, we've been hearing from some of our law enforcement contacts that the LAPD has asked for a lot more officers to head over to the mayor's residence, including members of the Metropolitan Division. A unit of Metropolitan Division is responsible for protecting the mayor. They're the plainclothes security people that you see with the mayor. They've also sent a number of other officers to the Getty House in anticipation of keeping any protesters off the property or away from climbing any of the gates. But as we're looking at these pictures, these demonstrators are simply sitting in the street. There is probably a lot of noise down there, but so far it doesn't look like there's anyone who's tried to cause any kind of confrontation with the officers who guard this house. Nonetheless, LAPD contacts are telling us that they're sending a few dozen officers over there to keep the peace.
All right, Eric, we appreciate that. You talk about noise. Well, in fact, we may hear some. We have NBC4